Good afternoon. My name is Konkana Bakshi, and today I am hosting a live with Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. We all know who he is. It is absolutely a pleasure to be hosting Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, who is the co-founder and managing director of Hiranandani Group. He is also the current president of the Associate Chambers of Commerce, which we all know as ASSOCHAM India. And of course, he's also the president of NAREDCO, which is the National Real Estate Development Council. Dr. Hiranandani is on board with many schools and colleges. He's a trustee of many college and universities, and also he's a trustee on Sri Temple, is what I found on my research. It's absolutely a delight that Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani is joining us today. Till we get a request from Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, I would like to give you a quick synopsis of today's live. It is really a very impromptu Q&A, and thank you all for sending me all your questions. We have received some very, very serious questions on real estate industry, and also we have received a few questions that I've noted down, light ones, So I'm sure this impromptu Q&A with Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani is going to be an absolute delight for many of you. And thank you so much for joining. Please do send us your questions as and when we go ahead with the live. And I am definitely looking forward to all of you to joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. There's so many people. Hello, Parthe. Hello Partha. Hello Rahul Soni. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just waiting for Dr. Hiranandani to send the request so I can accept him. Hello Sunita. Thank you so much for joining. All the Savoir Faire followers, I have posted on Savoir Faire Academy Instagram as well that the Q&A will be on my Instagram, on my personal profile, and thank God we have received so many questions in advance. So hello Rohit, thank you so much. Thank you Namrata. Hello Amrita. Hello Siddharth, thank you so much for joining. Hello Radhika. Very nice to hear from all of you guys, and please do send us your questions. I have received so many delightful questions from our generation entrepreneur for the business leader and the philanthropic Mr. Dr. Hiranandani. I apologize. It is such a delight that all of you are so inspired as much as I am by this person. Hello Aditi. Thank you. Swapnil, hello. Thank you very much for joining. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just waiting for Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani to send me the request. Let me just quickly glance through and see. Okay, I see a lot of you are requesting me to join the live. Today this live is dedicated and exclusively with Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, and I am quite assured that you all will be enjoying it as much as I do. I apologize, I cannot accept your live request, but thank you so much. I'll just quickly glance through if Dr. Hiranandani has joined us. Cute smile, thank you. N. Hiranandani joined. Where? Okay, excellent. Got it. Thank you, Alka Shah. Thank you, Ms. Shah. Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Hiranandani. Thank you so much for joining me.
How are you?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you very, very much. How are you? How have you been?
I'm good. And you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for joining us. We are all very excited to have you with us.
My pleasure.
Tell me, sir, how has the lockdown been for you? I see you all over giving talks, doing yoga, listening to music, and inspiring the generation. Uh, Tell me, what have you been doing in the lockdown?
I can assure you that I've been one of the busiest I've ever been. So it's
I
been
can imagine.
quite a busy schedule. Of course, I miss all the socializing personally, so I've missed all that. But having said that, we've been able to do a lot of new and exciting things, and now talk to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We have been receiving so many questions, and I have been doing some research of my own, and I found some great questions for you. Sorry if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, excellent. Sir, you have mentioned in a very interesting thing in your TED talk, and thank you so much for doing that because you've mentioned that you are your biggest competitor. Whatever you are yesterday, you should be a step ahead today. I thought that was very inspiring. Would you enlighten us a little more on that?
You know something in life, everybody has some beginning. And we always believe that the beginning is too small to reach anywhere in life. But, and that is true for everyone. It is not true for me, but it's true for every single person in the world. Look at our Prime Minister. He was just
Absolutely.
a chaiwala. Can you imagine? And now reach the annals of Prime Minister. But he's not even happy there. Every day he wants to do something new. Every day he wants to travel all over the world, which he's not able to do now. Make friends amongst all the international people and actually make changes every single day of his life. And sometimes surprises us, sometimes but always enthuses us. So just one example of things. I can give plenty such examples of people who continuously want to learn, who want to improve. And I've learned from them that it doesn't matter what you are and where you come from. But if you learn to improve yourself every single day of your life, you will achieve something great over a period of time. And that's exactly what I think every young person, every entrepreneur, every person in life are going to do. And Konkana, I think you are also doing the same.
Thank you so much. I believe life is a continuous quest of understanding a better meaning of existence, and Prime Minister Modi also teaches us that nothing is impossible. If
Absolutely,
you
absolutely.
Yes, I think because he comes from such a humble background, and today he's not only the Prime Minister of India, but he's one of the world leader. He's inspiring all of us. So I think in that way, he sets an example, saying, "Well, nothing is impossible. If you have a vision, if you have a dream, you can thrive it." And you, sir, have been inspiring all of us with so many inspirational talk, and I thank you very much once again. I know personally my friends who are in the real estate industry, probably taking over their father's business. I'm talking about our friends group, 25 to 30 years old. And I personally have received compliments like, Konkana, I look up to Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, the way he dressed, the way he speaks. So here you go.
I still have to learn a lot from you, Konkana. You had promised to improve my dress sense and others, so have to take you up on that. But having said that, what happens is actually I do believe also that the youngsters have a very big role to play. The reason is very simple. Our world is changing very, very fast. And I'm not only talking about the pandemic time, which has again undergone necessarily a lot of change, but I'm talking about normal times. Lots and lots of changes are taking place. But when you reach a certain age, you tend to get lethargic. You tend to um, be happy with whatever you have and say, oh my God, now let me just, sit and relax and not really do anything which is changing. And that's where the youngsters come about. And they actually can pick up so many new things to do, which are important, which are necessary, uh, without which the world won't move on. And I could give you hundreds and hundreds of examples of people who imbibe change, who bring about new things, new ideas, new thoughts, uh, new actions, new items of behavior, new items to construct, new items in terms of finance. So it's always exciting to say that how the millennials will actually imbibe this changing world and actually revel in it instead of crying about it, you know. So I think it's wonderful to see the next generation that you talk about, Gen Next, actually imbibing change and being able to ride the wave rather than getting drowned in it.
Absolutely. Couldn't
Yeah,
agree more. Ride the wave rather than getting drowned in it. Stop complaining and start improving yourself.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy the swim. To enjoy the swim into the whole thing, and get back on the surf.
So, what can the millennials, especially entrepreneur of our generation, can prepare himself or herself for the post-pandemic world? As we have discussed, the world has significantly changed, emotionally. Then we will come to the economic part. Emotionally, how can we, uh,
Um,
prepare ourselves?
I do believe that the only way you can actually get yourself emotionally ready is to start working for the future,
Yes,
which is to start thinking, oh, all right, I am where I am yesterday before the pandemic. Where will I be after the pandemic is over? And start thinking, what's the skill sets that I will need in order to face the new world? There are always things which you don't know or things which you don't mind learning. And a lockdown is really going to be useful for you because you will have the time, energy, and connectivity in order to actually learn those things. So, for example, let me tell you a couple of things which I have learned. Okay,
yes, yes.
one of the first things I learned was how to use the digital media much more effectively.
Excellent.
So I do much more digital connectivity. I advertise better digitally. I'm able to connect with all the people. I've improved my website. I've mm, I have, for instance, been able to connect with lots and lots of people on the video conferencing instead of having to go to them, and so on
Absolutely.
and so forth. So that's one. The second thing which I've been able to do is what I am. I now lead ASSOCHAM as president,
Yes, sir.
and it's I connect with people all over the country, especially New Delhi, and all over the country and all over the world. So in terms of business, in terms of government connectivity, now it's so easy to connect to them because they're all ready and willing to go on the VC and
Absolutely.
talk to you. So I meet much more people than I ever did before because I got to treat their appointments, go to meet them, and so on and so forth. Now they're all connected. So I've connected to the Prime Minister of India, the Finance Minister, the Commerce Minister, the Defense Minister, you know, the Reserve Bank Governor, to say on the top end, and then so many other people, the Chief Ministers, the Industry Ministers. So all this connectivity I could not have done. So efficiently use the opportunity because of the lockdown. The third thing, which is very been useful to me, is to get down to exercise more.
You
So
have always been passionate about, I think, physical harmony and working out and all of that, no?
yes, I do, but I do little more of it now because I have a little more time because I save the travel time, and
Yes.
so I've been able to do gymming. I've done my yoga, and cardio exercises, and I pick up a lot from the YouTube and work on some of those also. So you can do all those things that is there. Then another thing which I've done is set up a new university.
Hmm.
So the KC College, the HR College, and the BTTC College now is a new university, And we're going to do such wonderful things like liberal education, multidisciplinary approach. We're going to have yoga in the colleges. We're going to have skill development. If you're a science student, you can do dance and music. If you're a commerce student, you can learn digital and artificial intelligence,
Oh, that's
augmented
excellent.
intelligence. So these are the new things which I've done, a couple of them, and some changes in the business and stuff like that, which we're doing. So when you actually keep yourself occupied with new ideas, new thoughts, new learnings, then the amount of thought process of what you're not having, which is meeting people, let's say, which I love, uh, you kind of put that in the background and say, all right, we'll catch up with each other a little later and, make up for it at this point of time. So when you do so many things, which is there, and let me share a secret.
Yes, sir.
I've learned to do the jive. So next time I meet you, I'm going to dance with you the jive.
Yes, sir, of
Okay?
course.
All right. So that's
And you
kind of
also learned to play the piano for your grandson, I think you mentioned.
yeah.
Yes.
That yeah, playing the piano I've learned for my grandson. That's right. You know,
Yes.
seem to know more on my secrets.
I
All
do,
right.
I do.
Yeah.
So there is that actually brings me to my next question. What do you think? You have mentioned you and other natives of India have come up to speak on vocal for local cause with Asochan. I think that's an incredible initiative because we should promote Indian merchandise and Indian small entrepreneur more. And I think we millennials can spread the word even more internationally through Instagram, Snapchat. What do you think? In which way we, the youngsters, can support the government to sort of enhance the GDP of India through vocal for local cause? Just a few
Con-
tips if you can give.
Konkana, beautiful question. And it's
Thank you.
extremely important. The Prime Minister's talked about it, but we at your age can start walking the talk. It's okay to say that some technology is being imported. It's all right because we have to be integrated with the rest of the world and nothing wrong with importing high technology things. But what do? We import small things like toys, for instance. You know, the national flag, which you pin up
Yes,
over there,
of course.
those are also getting imported. I mean, it's so ridiculous. I mean, smallest and small things which we can do in the building industry. We import tiles from China. We do stuff like that. Now, obviously, we could do a lot of that in India, and it's up to us as entrepreneurs to really walk the talk, vocal for local, and really be into it. But we in India sometimes talk a lot, but we don't walk the talk.
I know.
And I think it's about time we really did that too. So if we
Absolutely.
can actually implement a lot of these ideas in terms of picking it up and then really taking it off, I think it will make a world of a difference. So
Any
uh,
stuff?
lots of new, lots of new things that we can possibly do in this country in terms of it. We have a lot of people with lots of brains, a lot IT people, people skilled like you in different ideas. Uh, Once upon a time, India was an education capital of the world. Nalanda is a university from 5th century AD till 1200. The people from all over the world came to India in spite of travel not being available. And we had a university there which taught the world. Now all of us want to go to the United States, quite rightly so, because they have the best education which we have. But we need to reverse things like that. And we need
Absolutely.
to take a responsibility to lead this country. So, yes, it's a good idea to do it. It's a bright idea to do it. It's a wonderful thought to do it. But we got to act on it.
We got to act. Absolutely. We are receiving many, many questions. I would just like to just dive into a few questions. Oh my God, we have so many questions for you that we have received before, and obviously now as well. Okay, I'll just quickly glance through. Um, all the praises for you, sir. Everybody is saying that they are all big fan of yours.
Thank you.
And I think you can also see the questions, right, sir?
Yeah, various political people need to be easy set up manufacturing, remove harassment by their labor unions and syndicate. Yes, we've been talking to the government about it. The Prime Minister has declared that things are going to be done. The labor happens to be a state subject. So the various states also have to act. Some of them already changed some of the policies. We in ASOCHAM and others, we are representing a lot of activity in terms of how to make these further changes, ease of doing business, labor issues, but generally to look at policy measures to do it. In the recent years, 42 companies left China, textile units, and 23 went to Vietnam. We only two of them came to India. So obviously something is missing, Konkana. I think we all need to look at introspect and see what are the things that we need to do in order to get things into hand. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Somebody
Uh,
is asking, what's your favorite food? I think we have received this question in our Q&A as well.
Okay, favorite food. Okay, I'm I love variety of food. I can eat Chinese. I love Italian. I love my own Sindhi food. You know, something which my mother really brought me up with,
Yes.
and now my wife also is a good cook. So it's an advantage over here. I eat a lot. You know, uh, so how do you prepare a good business model and how to convince the venture
Venture
capitalists?
capitalist. Oh,
There are
wow.
there are two aspects of it. The first part of it is creating the business model. I don't think that is difficult. Anybody can prepare a good business model by picking up facts and figures and things. But in order to actually convince venture capitalists, you really have to be able to show them that you have the innate capability or a track record. Venture capitalists are not going to really do it. But if you have an innovative technology idea, then the venture capitalists will groove for you. So, A, you have to have a track record if you want them, or B, you have to think of a groovy, great idea which is actually innovative and is technology driven and can be reaching lots of people. So, that's the way to go. I've heard
Thank
that
you
there are
so much.
many Factory Act compliances to be done. Yes, there are too many, and we are hoping that government will reduce them. Something is going to happen, I'm sure. Uh, Thank you very much for being my fan. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Do you like uh, Pani Puri? Of course, I love Pani Puri. I love Pani Puri and Bhel Puri too, and Ragda Patties too. Thanks for discussing, addressing my view. Okay, मेरा एक सपना ही है सेल्फी आपके साथ हो जाए. मैं कोंकणा को भेज दूंगा और उसके बाद में आप उनसे ले सकती हैं. In India, we have big fan. Thank you. How can future entrepreneurs use this long lockdown period? Yes, this is a
Good
good
question.
question. I've
Good
already
question.
partly answered it, but
Yes.
let me tell you that we really have to learn how the changes are taking place. For instance, communication. Earlier, I would do advertising in papers. We would do hoardings, but with less people traveling around and newspapers not being read as much. The digital media becomes very important, and that's the way to go. So what you have to find out is what are the newer methods to do what you want to achieve and do, and then go about it that way. You say on warehousing sector, or you seem to know about my foray into warehousing and industrial townships. Yes, there is a good future in this segment, and especially after GST being removed, GST coming in, we do find an opportunity because earlier warehousing was on the outskirts of each city. You don't need to do that. Plus, there is e-commerce taking place. A combination of all this is going to make warehousing a good future. So, best one in my house in Kolkata. When can I host you? Oh, Kolkata or Konkana? House with Konkana or Kolkata? Okay, both maybe. Surely
Sir,
we'll
I
love
have
to.
this.
Your
Sir, I have
favorite?
this question. Yes, sir. Your
Yeah, you
favorite
have
car?
some
Somebody is
questions. You
asking.
have some questions. Yeah, go ahead, Konkana. Your questions.
So we all are very optimistic of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? And Modi ji have even more initiative. We are more optimistic and we are more ambitious about this project. I think it's an incredible way that the youngsters should know about it and also be inspired about the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Where do you see the youngsters can come up with startup ideas to support the Indian economy and also to thrive internationally with this Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, sir?
Excellent question. The answer is also equally simple.
Yes.
The idea is basically to seek what are the problems of today? What are the problems people have? Do the people have problems relating to something which you can sort out? Then you focus on that and try to see how it can be solved. So let's presume that, what should I take? Let's take a subject which is not so commonly thought of. Let's talk about education of people who have already graduated 5 years ago. All right?
Absolutely.
So they don't have any resource to get back to education. So why not get certain way to get these people back to education? Now, nobody has thought of that. Do you find people in the millennials going back to college to study? No, you don't. But you do find it in the United States. People go back to college after a couple of years and further complete it whenever things they have a gap in terms of their businesses or otherwise, or taking the difference between jobs, they would go back and get more education, which will make them liable. So
There
let's
are
say you
executive
have a
MBAs
problem
and
on.
all of that as well.
So if you have education to do it. The second, let's say skill sets. Look at the skill sets you have teaching people, like etiquette, like business etiquette, like people presentation skills. All this is worthwhile learning. Now, what happens is that if you can think of a problem, people don't have good etiquette, you have solved their problem of good etiquette, this is the way to go. So that's exactly an entrepreneurial idea which they can possibly take up. So similarly, in every field of endeavor, so let's say, for instance, 30 years ago, we thought of that the buildings were all leaking. So all the older buildings used to leak. And we decided that we don't want to make a single building which ever leaks. And we talked to engineers and they couldn't find a solution. We talked to engineers and we couldn't find a solution. But we said nothing doing. We will work that way. Today, all the buildings that we make don't leak. Now,
Oh,
it
wow.
sounds so simple. It sounds such a stupidly simple thought. But in reality, it serves the people. So if you can think of ideas like that and provide solutions to the whole thing, there it goes. You can have an idea and the ideas can be so much. And I'm sure the millennials will have many, many more better ideas than I can think of. Because that's the way to go.
Absolutely. Do you think etiquette and international cultural awareness, what we teach, we teach cultural awareness, international business protocol, do you think that has a little scope to work with Atmanirbhar Bharat? Is there any way that something like this can help the government and the government official to enlighten themselves more? Do you think?
Have you seen how Mr. Narendra Modi dresses every
I
time
think he
he
dresses
comes
very
for?
well, sir. He
Yes. So
represents the country very well.
yes, and you can see the way he dresses, the way he speaks, the
Yes.
way he communicates, and the behavioral way that he goes. You can't have a better person in the dress sense, and he dresses Indian. He dresses
Absolutely.
in a way which respects and comes out correctly for the country. And yet, when you dress and go to other countries of the world, you need to know what their etiquette is. So unless you don't know that, you won't be able to communicate and make them comfortable. So what you teach is extremely important. So when a marketing person, when a person who wants to communicate, who wants to relate to other people need to do it, and people look up to people like that. So
Thank you,
just
sir.
just the way that you would do would make people who are your clients who are you, whom you teach and train them, people will look up to them, because that's the way to go. You have to be having a proper dress sense. I also need a little training from you to pick it
Absolutely
up.
not.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely
because
not. You are one of one of the person in Indian business world who dresses impeccably. You are classic, elegant. So let's not even talk about dress sense. You're impeccable in that.
we'll pick up tips from you at least. Thank you.
But it's good to know, and thank you for giving me this inspiration that my sort of industry, which is etiquette and protocol and international cultural awareness, can still help the government. And I think people do business with people, right? We are representing ourselves and our culture internationally, even when we are doing business internationally. And I think our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, is representing the country so well, so impeccably. And you know, sir, what we call in etiquette.
Maybe you should train the foreign service of people who go all over the world and do that. So maybe they could also come out much better.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You could put in a word for me. And so I think, Sri Narendra Modi ji, what we teach in etiquette is business is done over relationship, right? People do business with people, and that's how companies and collaborations are built. And I think Prime Minister Modi ji does exactly that so beautifully. The friendship that he builds with other countries' leaders and presidents, I think it's impeccable. He's representing the nation in the world platform. How many of us know Sri Narendra Modi ji internationally? My friends, etiquette consultants from all over the world, they thrive on the name of Modi ji. They want to dress, behave, talk, the elocution, articulation, the way, the communication, everything. So I, being a millennial of India, very, very proud of our leader, Sri Narendra Modi ji. And
Sure.
also business leaders like you, sir, because I know that a lot of my etiquette consultants all over the world, the international, my colleagues, they have literally WhatsApped me and asked me that we have Googled Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani and we are so inspired by his philanthropic work. Would you tell us a little bit about your philanthropic work?
Well, I don't want to talk about the philanthropy part, but I'd like to speak about the type of work I do. That is very, very, very interesting for me, and to share that with you. So in Mumbai, I
Yeah.
run 14 colleges. I have 45,000 students, 2,500 teachers and non-teaching staff who run these educational institutions, and we plan to make it one of the best as far as the country is concerned before we take tucker with the rest of the world. But we want to actually grow these institutions into great, not good institutions. They are already, some of them are the best in Mumbai, but we want them to be the best in the country before we actually take tucker with the rest of the world. So our idea, that is on the education side. I also have a hospital, and we've taken care of more than 1,200 positive COVID hospitalized patients and really taken care of them in this extremely difficult time. So we're doing that very efficiently. The third thing, which
1200.
1,200 of them. Then we have looked after almost 4,000 migrant workers in this COVID times and all. Of course, almost 3,000 went back during the migration, which moved back. But we still have 1,500 of them, which we feed them, look after them, sanitize them, inoculate them, and take care of them. We do that part of the work also. And the most interesting part is the education side. We've now got everybody, every student in my colleges and also my schools to be online already. So my teachers are all online. And of course, they have difficulties. And all the naughty students, of course, they kind of play the fool with the teachers simply because they are more digitally savvy. So, they are always up to mischief. But my teachers are catching up with them, and they're still being able to do a lot. So online teaching is doing great in the whole
Absolutely.
thing, and something which we never imagined, before March of this year. We thought, yeah, how are we going to do? This is going to be a destructive year. But we found it's fantastic. The attendance has improved. So, and the concentration of many of the students who want to learn. has improved tremendously. In fact, they find it extremely good. Uh, those who don't want to learn will anyway never learn. So that's another story. But what has happened is that in all this not-for-profit activity that I do, including ASSOCHAM, NAREDCO, I'm also trustee of 3 temples.
Yes,
But
yes.
we work on all these things in terms of the not-for-profit activity, and I revel into all of this.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for doing that. And you, as I mentioned several times before, and I don't cease to say it again, you do inspire our generation very, very much. I have seen you speaking on TED Talks about things that has got nothing to do with real estate, and you really inspire. You really pierce through that thought-provoking ideas in a young entrepreneur or a young person's life in general. And I thank you very much for doing that, sir. Is there any question you would like to answer from the Instagram?
So this one says, to enter into aviation for the coming future, what are the thoughts do you have, sir? I wouldn't get into the aviation sector today because of the kind of difficulty it is into it. But yes, once the travel goes back, aviation will come back, hospitality will come back, tourism will come back. But it will take some time, probably after the vaccine comes into operation and we find a successful vaccine. I think that's the time of when the things on aviation will actually come back to normal. I don't immediately have a plan. Our diversification in our company is on data centers, it's on warehousing, it's on industrial townships. My son is very much into gas, into the gas business. So all this is doing. I'm a researcher named IIT Powai. Is there any chance I could intern with you or spend some time learning from you? I'll be happy to take a researcher into my organization, but not at present. Let this COVID situation improve. Otherwise, it'll be a hands-off learning. We can still look at it and communicate. You can send me a mail. What is your favorite book every entrepreneur should read? I read a lot of biographies. So I learned lots about people who have lived their lives and done. I think every biography teaches you something or the other. There's no one favorite biography. There's so much to learn from
Which
biographies of.
tell me one that you must suggest to everyone.
I think Abdul Kalam is a book.
Abdul.
His books must be read. Any interest in setting up data center in Kolkata? We are now setting it up in the western region and southern region and northern region. We haven't looked at Kolkata yet, but we'll keep it in mind, and probably another time we will certainly do it. How is the pandemic disrupted the construction business? Of course, it has disrupted the construction business hell of a lot. But many businesses are disrupted. I mentioned to you about the other ones also. But we do think that this will come back over a period of time. We have a 33% comeback of the construction business, but it's a long way to go before it can be done. I'm picking up the questions which you sent me last time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Times of difficulty such as now shown to be a boon for entrepreneurs, whereas professionals, furloughs, layoff, and pay cut. Yes, it's a very, very tough time for many people, especially of somebody who's been laid off. The best thing to do is to learn new skills in this period of time and use it lucratively to get yourself better skills than what you were before that. While a lot of industries may survive remote working, your industry is more on-site, close contact. We are already back into operations, not of the full scale, but about 33% of the business is on. I think slowly but surely we are increasing it. And we hope by Diwali this year, we will be back to full normal. The new normal, of course. The enormous capital and manpower employed in each project, how is it open to young entrepreneurs? How can a bootstrap startup or penetrate, grow in construction business? There is a lot of services element in the construction business. Maybe you can become a marketing brain and become a marketing company for real estate. Or you can pick up so many ideas and thoughts in terms of skill sets, which could be a design ideas, which could be done. Or maybe, Konkana, you could teach many of the marketing people better skills. in terms of
Thank you.
presenting themselves into do whatever it is. And what are the skills that undergraduates should learn?
Undergraduates should learn.
Very good question. Undergraduates miss out a lot because they think that once they graduate with whatever is learned in college, that's enough. It's not. There are so many soft skills that we can do: presentation skills, speaking skills, negotiation skills. Konkana teaches you other skills. Those
Yes,
and all
I
others
also
could be
teach presentation.
presentation. So then that's it. These are the type of soft skills which you can definitely learn. Digital skills, skills of being able to use the digital media, artificial intelligence, data operations. All these things could be learned during this lockdown period. An undergraduate should learn because afterwards you don't get time to learn these skills.
Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Should colleges give students to pay their academic fees because of the pandemic? Students are stressed out. I think the parents are stressed out, so the colleges should do it. I don't know if the students are stressed out. They should do something, especially where the. So, do you, sir, how to have a strong mindset in the journey? Oh, this is a very good question, but it's slightly difficult to answer in a short way. The mindsets are about how you act in the present. If you start worrying about the past or the environment, then you will always be upset. The secret is to concentrate on whatever you are doing and do it well. Don't worry about the environment and don't worry about the future, because the future will happen good if you have presently worked on the present and made yourself stronger and better. If you continue to focus on the good present, even though the environment is bad, you will come out stronger and better automatically. All you got to
I
do is
think
focus on new ideas, new skills, new thoughts, and you will definitely be fine. But if you want to be lethargic, if you want to say, अरे अभी तो बुरा टाइम चल रहा है, oh हम क्या करें, let me do it and do gossiping and stuff like that, that's a sheer nonsense. Learn
absolutely.
new things, even if it's fun things, doesn't matter. Do it, but keep learning. Be habituated to learn new things all the time, even the
Absolutely.
fun things. Don't worry about it being fun or otherwise useful or not. But remember, keep the future in mind. Many times we do and waste the present not preparing for a future. The more you prepare for the future, the more successful you are going to be in the, I'm sorry, as the more you prepare yourself in the present, the better you will be in the future. The less you prepare yourself now, your future is not going to be bright, simply because other people are going to pick up better skill sets in this interim period while you're lolling around and doing nothing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that was a very, very good question. And Dr. Hirnandani, thank you so much once again for joining me and
Thank you.
giving me your precious time. I I I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. You continue to inspire us and the young generation to a large extent. And I really am very thankful to have you with me today in this Instagram. I know we keep receiving questions.
I'm going to contact you to give me tips on how to be better in my other things in which you are excelling in. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure coming from you. Thank you so much once again for
Thank
joining me,
you. Bye.
sir. And thank you very much to inspire me always with your public speaking and with your interviews. Thank you once again.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir. That was Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani joining us. It was absolute pleasure to have Dr. Hiranandani with us. I keep receiving a lot of questions and a lot of relevant ones are still with me. I would request, uh, the Hiranandani team to probably give a written answers to some of the questions that we could not answer. But thank you, all of you, for joining. I see one question that's coming from Monaco asking if I can do an Instagram live or some kind of a collaboration with in Monaco. Yes, I do a lot of collaboration internationally. I in fact taught in France, so I'm happy to do it. Um, there are I think that was the only question I could answer. But thank you so much all of you for joining me, and I hope that you enjoyed the live as much as I did. And thank you very much once again for your questions. Goodbye.